All right, here we go. Play Alberta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Not even close. Not even in the ballpark. Nowhere near it. The Edmonton Oilers, with a brutal effort against another Western Conference powerhouse that walks in and absolutely demolishes them on home ice. Not even close. Pretty much everybody in that lineup did not bring it tonight. We all know who the one guy was who did. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Post-game edition. Boy, this will be an interesting one, breaking it down. And as always, our show is brought to you by our title sponsor, Timber House Developments, the leader in custom and infill development with the knowledge and experience to bring your dream to life. If you are tired of cookie-cutter, copy-and-paste designs with no soul, see the team at Timber House and discover how naturally inspired living can make your life better. Take all the guesswork out of your infill project and work with experienced leaders. Visit timberhouse.ca. Rob Brown will be checking in a little bit. In the meantime, we have Zooby Zoo, and we have Jason Strudwick standing by to break this pig down. Struds, you were working on the broadcast tonight. That was ugly, buddy. And the fact that this is twice this group has allowed this to happen on home ice this year, alarm bells must be ringing in the heads of the powers that be with this group.
Oh, that was tough. That was really tough to watch, to talk about. My phone has been blowing up. My friends are all in crisis mode right now. Like it was rough because, like you said, this isn't the first time this month. This is the second time. And these are two teams that you'll have to beat one of them most likely, right, to get into out of this conference. So yeah, that was really tough. And they were as flat as I've seen a team be flat in quite a number of seasons, for sure.
So bad. Zuby, your job tonight is to monitor the goaltending chatter on the stream. And we're going to do our best tonight to kind of keep that in proper perspective. And we'll get your opinion, we'll get Strud's opinion and Brownie's as to what role goaltending played in the debacle that was tonight. But I feel like it's going to be lively, and it should be lively. Like, if you're an Oiler fan, if you paid money to get into the building and watch that team play tonight, you should be angry. And I'm not telling you not to spend your money and not to go back, but you should be angry tonight because the effort that team put forward, I know it's a first game back from a road trip and all that, for me doesn't apply. Not on a night like this, not when it was as bad as it was tonight. This was awful, including the star players run through them. McDavid, not good enough. Draisaitl, nowhere near good enough. Nurse, Bouchard, Hyman. It was rampant through the entire lineup. It was a debacle. So let's get to breaking it down. Struds, courtesy our good friends over at the Canadian Brew House.
Hold on. Yep. During every Oilers game day at the Canadian Brew House, enter at any Edmonton and area location for your chance to win Oilers home game tickets. Plus, enjoy $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards. Edmonton-born, Canadian-operated, 48 locations across Canada. That's our buddies at the Canadian Brew House.
Okay, what we're going to do tonight, we're going to run a lot of player sound because Struds and I, we're going to do our thing and Brownie's going to do his thing and we're going to rip this thing to shreds. But I think most importantly, you need to hear what the players had to say tonight because after this loss, the leadership group came out, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Darnell Nurse. Nurse didn't say a whole lot tonight. He was a little extra grumpy post-game, so there wasn't really much of value with him. But McDavid and Draisaitl did some lengthy interviews, and Chris Knobloch with some interesting content as well. So we'll have that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Struds, let's get the headline thoughts, though, buddy. What to you was the single most concerning thing about this performance tonight?
Flat, flat, flat. And flat doesn't just mean they didn't have emotion as far as emotional engagement to this game. It was the way they skated around. They had one speed, right? There was no change of speed. There was no hard play. So just flat encompasses everything that we saw today, offensively, defensively, power play, penalty kill, goaltending, coaching. It was just it to me. It looked like they were just, let's just get through this. It's like someone who doesn't want to work out. They're like, we'll just get through this. We're going to be flat, bring no energy. It was flat across the board, everywhere I can. Anything you want to talk about, it was flat.
So let's address something here. There's a lot of talk about the Oilers' schedule and how hard it's been, and that's fair. There's talk about back-to-back runs to the Stanley Cup final and the life that takes out of a group and how it's hard to get unstuck at the start of the year, and those things are fair, right? All of that has been part of the narrative. We've allowed for that idea on this show to a degree because we know that is fair. But there's a deeper issue here, Struds. There's a deeper issue that kind of transcends those excuses, we'll call them, even though they're fair. This team does not know how to compete properly. They just don't. There's lots of good hockey players. There's lots of guys that know how to make nice hockey plays. And, on an individual basis, they can go out there, and if enough of them make nice plays on a given night, they can win a hockey game, and they might be able to beat just about anybody on a given night because they have those types of skilled players. But when it comes to the competitiveness required to compete night in, night out in the NHL, this group cannot summon it regularly. They don't have it. And when they don't have it, they can't find it regularly. And nobody seems to think it's their responsibility to do anything different to go and get it. It's everyone same old, night in, night out, not trying anything different, not upping their competitive level. It's a common theme with this group this year. This group does not know how to function and compete properly yet.
Yeah, so and I like how you said yet. So this is what I believe. The guys have been here before. That group knows how to compete because they've been through it before. They're not doing it now. That is a huge chunk of the D for sure. That is a lot of the centermen and some of the higher end wingers. That group knows how to do it. They haven't engaged in it yet. The newer players that have come through this year, they, I feel, aren't bringing it. There is no excuse for them. They have not had long runs. They have not. They're not tired. They have not. There's nothing going on. They should be bringing nothing but excitement to this lineup, like we saw Clattenburg do, and we haven't seen it from those players. So when I roll through it, there's guys that are maybe tired and they haven't decided to do it. Then you have the other group that are here for the first time and they're not doing it. Where's Mangiapane tonight? Right? He was invisible after the second period. I looked at his time. He was on the ice for 5.5 minutes. Now, maybe he wants some more ice time, and I can see that. I get it, but you have to give a coach a reason to put you out there, and he hasn't been. So, everything you're saying is right. I mean, they're either unwilling to compete or unable to compete this far this year on an individual basis. I don't think you can blanket the team, because each case I think is different. But I mean, you got to show up. We saw it in Florida. I'm like, okay, they're going to turn the page, and they come out tonight, to use my word, flat.
Yeah, and I'm going to harp back on something that I've been harping on for most of Knobloch's tenure here, and maybe it'll spark some disagreement. I don't know. And this isn't and I told you so. This is nothing like that. But this is my point about the group being flat. From the time this coach has arrived, he has not placed a focus on or rewarded a level of emotional and physical engagement in hockey games. It has never been a priority for him to reward and to demand emotional attachment in games. It's just not something that is high on his priority list. It's about making good plays and checking with your stick It's not about competitive spirit. It's not about somebody going and finding a way to turn a tide in a game and demanding that. And as a result, this group everyone just thinks it's someone else's job, Struds. Like everybody thinks. And then one player goes out there and throws a couple of body checks and bangs in a goal. He looks like the best power forward the team's had. It stands out so much the second somebody goes out there and shows a pulse. It's such an outlier. It's like, whoa, because this group is so docile and there is such a lack of competitiveness night in, night out. They've squeezed out some wins. They've shown flashes of it here and there. We haven't even started talking about the disaster they are defensively yet. It stands out like a sore thumb the minute anybody shows a pulse. That's not normal. That's not okay. And that, to a degree, has been bred into this group.
I see where you're going with that, and you and I have had our differences in that, and everyone can express competitiveness in a different way. To me, one way to look at it is puck battles, right? Are you winning your fair share of puck battles? Are you getting there? And to bring it into tonight, I mean, they weren't winning puck battles. They weren't creating. Let me rephrase that. They weren't really creating puck battles. You know what I mean? Like they were getting their second regularly. So your point's well made. But you would like to see a Corey Perry pop in there and fight every now and then, but that is sporadic over the course. You can't fight every shift you go out there. What you can do is be more determined, hard on the puck, forecheck hard, get back, defend hard. Like that is a way of expressing competitiveness and being competitive, and that has been very inconsistent for individuals and the group.
Yeah, and I know you know this. I'm not advocating for guys to be out running around being dummies and starting fights every time the team's a little flat. Like those days are gone. That's not practical. Yeah. And you can't even find those fights. But what I'm saying is it should be everybody's responsibility to make sure that they're pulling in the right direction emotionally in a game. Like expect it from one another, demand it from yourself. On a game where you're flat, everybody go out there and do what you can to raise the emotional energy, Struds. It's unbelievable how a shift and a half of somewhat mildly looking playoff hockey is just such an incredible outlier of the emotional level of this group. They are flat. Yeah. They are docile. They have no idea how to spark themselves. They got a bunch of guys skating around just hoping to avoid the big mistake, but not really taking any responsibility in shoving this thing in the right direction. This team has to find rock bottom. They keep thinking they're there, and they're not. And they keep finding newer lows and bigger disappointments. This isn't panic about the season. This isn't, it's not time for that, Struds. But this has gone on way too long for the problem to consistently be they're not emotionally checked in. It's unacceptable that is still a narrative this far into an underachieving 2 months. That's not acceptable. That can't go on for months, that it's a competitive spirit issue.
So where does that come from? Is it, I outlined it. Is it the leadership group, the core, or is it the new guys that come in? I think both groups can be the answer. Both can bring it, right? And but the problem with the leadership core is that those guys, these games aren't very exciting. They're looking ahead to the playoffs or thinking that's what they want. And maybe looking ahead is unfair. They know what it's like to be in the playoffs, and this is in the playoffs. So are they going to sell out and go for it all the time? Haven't really seen it yet over the last two falls, right? Then the new guys, are they what's the right word? Are they being given the rope to do that, or the leash to kind of go out and do those types of things? Are they being encouraged to bring energy into that room? Because I think when you're coming to a team like the Oilers and you're new, you should be, one of your jobs should be bringing new energy to the group, because these guys have dragged themselves, 2 times through a really long run. You have to bring energy, and that's not just in games. That's practice. That's on the road. That's everywhere, right? You should be excited to be part of this team. I know I would be. They've been in the Stanley Cup final twice. I'd be thrilled to be on that team to try to bring my energy and help them
Struds,
get through this.
Struds, I got to interrupt you. there's a check stop on the way into Sherwood Park. So go ahead and get to the Weiss Johnson sound box and run McDavid and Draisaitl sound, buddy. I'm just doing a check stop, so I'll hit the mute button and let you
buddy.
do your thing.
All right, buddy. Let's do it. Let's get to the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, brought to you by our good buddies over at Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Should you need a new train furnace, air conditioner, heat pump, hot water tank, or garage heater, Weiss Johnson is now offering 24 months, no interest, equal payments, OAC to make your purchase easier heading into the Christmas season. They're a family helping your family for nearly 50 years. Visit wjjingle.com for exclusive specials for Got Your Back Jingle lovers. Let's hear it. Bring it, Zeus. People need it. So I am really, I think it was important for the leaders, the core leaders, to come out tonight. So just for those people that know, it was Connor, Leon, Darnell Nurse, and obviously Knobloch. He's out after every game that came and spoke. That this is one they need to have. They need to go out. If you win 2-3 or 3-2 or whatever, they don't have to come out. But tonight, the leadership group came out and spoke. So let's first hear from Captain Connor McDavid.
I think it stems from the whole thing. We're not good enough with the puck. And, it's leading to sustained, time in our D zone. It's the whole thing, we're not getting up the ice, not forechecking pucks back, and we're playing too much in the D zone. There's not many D zone systems that hold up after, 30, 40 a minute in your D zone. It's tough to defend.
Here he is on. Do you want me to just keep rolling?
Just give me one quick. So it's important to hear one thing he said. He goes, I think he said the way we manage the pucks. And this is something that we've been talking about on this podcast, that, it's not just how you manage it below your top of the circles. It's how you do it crossing the blue lines, both blue lines, how you handled it in the offensive zone. You look back to the fourth goal, Ekholm gets the puck and he just kind of throws it up to no one, up the wall. Next thing you know, it's in the back of their net. Like, these are important. What do you got now, Zoops?
We got Connor also on the 2 blowouts this season.
Definitely been 2 significant ones where we've let it get away on us. Both here on home ice, both unacceptable. So, have to find a way to generate our own momentum, our own energy, our own, and find a way to get ourselves going.
What do you want, Shug? You want to go right into Leon?
Yeah, you know what, buddy? Roll Leon Draisaitl, then roll Chris Knobloch, and then Struds and I'll dig into it after.
Okay, I'm going to save the ones of the Leon and Connor. They were short about them talking about their own games. We can set that up separately, but here was Leon talk. You asked him, Shogger, if he was concerned about the defensive numbers and metrics.
Well, it's very concerning. Everything is very concerning, though. we're nearly 30 games in, and still don't seem to have it down or know what we are. So, I don't really know what to say. It's just not good enough right now.
Leon talked about the goalies also. You want me to go there or go to the coach?
Go to the coach.
Okay. This is extended spot here with Coach Knobloch. Here we go.
There's a lot of things I'm concerned about defending. You go through the checklist of what we're doing, our breakouts, our forecheck, our defending, our emotion. So there's a lot of things to fix. We have to have a priority of what we're going to address. We can't fix everything immediately, but there'll be some deep discussions in the next couple of days about what we need to do. We've got a couple of days to finally take some time, assess what we're doing. We've been playing so many games lately. We haven't had any practice time, very little. This week we do have some time that'll give us some time to address things.
Just following, how high on that list is overall competitiveness in terms of your concern?
We have to ramp it up, but I don't want to say that we got a lot of guys who are just frustrated. It's not that they've checked out or don't care. That would be concerning. These guys do care. They haven't checked out, but they definitely are discouraged and don't see much optimism right now. So that's uplifting to know that we can work with that. But I think we need to have, as a coaching staff starting there, instill some hope, and that's with finding a solution to how we can play better.
I thought he handled that well, Struds. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I mean it's oh shit. The low hanging fruit is the netminder, right? And listen, I'm not here to apologize or to say that, you know, I'm not here to say the goaltenders can't be better. We know they can be better. But when you sit down and look at what's going on, this is a complete team situation, what's going on with the goals against. This isn't, it's just a goalie. It's not just the players. And it's not just the coaches. It's everyone. Everyone has to be better in this situation. And so, you know, to throw fire on something that's already burning brightly, I don't think it makes any sense.
Yeah, no, and yeah, so he said it kind of without saying it, and, you know, made it clear that the players aren't giving up on him. On the goaltending front, I'll just say this. The problem is both. The team is terrible at defending on a lot of nights, and the goaltending is not good enough on a lot of nights. They've got the second best goaltender, you know, 80% of the games, and the performances from Skinner and Pickard, they're just not the type of performances that take a team that is up and down in its quality of play and struggling a lot and do it any favors or help it. So yes, it mirrors the struggles, but goaltending was a major question mark coming into this season. And what I will say at this point is that if Stuart Skinner doesn't find a way to increase the quality of his play night in, night out, regardless of what the team is doing around him, he's going to get himself traded out of here. That's just the simple fact. They're not going to take a subpar goaltender into another playoff year. So it's 25 games in, hasn't moved the needle yet, hasn't been market improvement yet, and there is no question in my mind Stan Bowman needs to be, looking seriously at this and feeling like it's got to be feeling a little obvious which direction this is now heading in. It's 25 games in, and we've been patient on this show, Struds. We've given it time, but I'm telling you, it's now to the point where they're running out of time, and it's looking pretty clear which way this might have to go. It's just incumbent on him. He can't let it ride with subpar goaltending again. He just can't.
Yeah. Listen, I hear you, and I've been very, very strong in my opinion that the play in front of the netminder, any netminder would be struggling with this right now. I feel very strongly about it. I will not change it. So, you give me the best goalie in the league and put him in there. How many more wins are you ahead of where you're at right now? I'm sure there'd be a couple. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. But you could put a brick wall in that net. And if they don't improve the way they play in front of them, it doesn't matter because even a brick wall bends and it breaks.
But I think Struds, let's say the Oilers were let's say they found another 10 or 12 goals and managed to win 4 or 5 more games, and their goals against stayed the same, and the goals that Stuart Skinner and Calvin Pickard have let in have been the same. Let's say you add 3, 4, 5 more wins to the win column, and the goaltending has stayed the same, I would still be saying the same thing. Based on the quality of the play, the signal has not been sent to the guy in charge that it'll be different this time. And I think that signal needed to be sent this year. It needs to be sent this year that there will be an improvement for them to be able to let it ride again. And it has not yet been set. So, I mean, I'm basing this strictly on what the goaltenders are doing, not wins and losses even.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess. I mean, even if they score a few more goals, to me, they could be scoring 30 more goals. The way they're playing, defensively and managing the puck, they're not winning anything. They're not winning the
Yeah,
AHL title. Like
yeah.
that's the fact. So I listen. I get it, and I know that I'm the people are probably blowing me up. Us Struddy's always protecting the goalies. Yeah, I guess I am in some ways, but the reality is, it doesn't matter who's in the net when they play like this. Let's just say the playoffs start tomorrow. Let's say they were able to get the netminder of everyone's dreams. Let's say it's Jordan Bennington. Do you really think, not you, but all the listeners, do you really think you're beating Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, Vegas? No, 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 no. It's you're 4-out. You might not even beat the Kings if they make the playoffs. So to me, it's a moot
Let
point.
me
And now
let
there
me
might
put
be,
it to
hold
you
on, there
this
might
way,
be some.
Struds.
Okay, let's hear it.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to
I
interrupt
guess
if you were finishing your point.
no, I guess what I would say is that I would say, oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead. I'll think of it.
My apologies,
No
my
problem.
friend.
No
Sorry
problem.
about that. Let me put it to you this way. I have a reasonable amount of confidence that this team is going to be able to get its defensive woes somewhat under control. I do not believe they're going to be this bad defensively all year, right? I
Okay.
believe that this blue line's capable of more. I believe that they're going to figure out some stuff structurally. I think, as the schedule eases up, I think that will give them the requisite energy to maybe have a little bit more in their game. I believe that there's a good chance the defensive issues on this team are going to get sorted out. My level of confidence that there will be a meaningful uptick in the quality of goaltending is nowhere near as high as my confidence that defensively they'll figure it out. What about you?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I can't disagree with that. Um, has it been fair to Stu Skinner though? Do we know what he can do with this group the way they're playing in front of them? I've challenged you to say it's. I would doubt that we really know what he can do this year because he hasn't been fair. Now, the point I was going to make, I remember it. Now, if someone's saying, Struddy, listen, we believe this team will play better or differently defensively with a different netminder in there because you think maybe it's a fresh look or it's a change or whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
I could see that. So if you're looking to make a change for everybody and maybe a shock value, like make no mistake, Stu Skinner and this group have been through a lot together. This isn't a guy they just picked up this summer. They've been through a lot of highs and some really bad lows they've been through together. So let's say tomorrow they trade Stu Skinner and bring in someone new, goaltender X, doesn't matter who it is. That's a massive shock value because of what they've been on. He's been a core piece to this team.
Yeah. And I think part of my point here is it may be getting into that range where the signal is being sent. That might need to happen. I don't think it's there yet. I'm not saying it's going to happen this second, but I believe Stan Bowman was going to sit, pay attention, watch the signs, give Stu a chance, see how his year goes, see if they're noticing improvements, see if they're noticing some technical improvements, some movement improvements, see if whatever the team is doing around him, when you focus on Stu Skinner specifically, the narrative is, you know what? There's growth there. He looks like he's come around in a few ways. The quality of the saves that he's making in certain times and this and that. When you highlight this player and talk about his performance, the narrative needed to be he's actually taken a bit of a step here. He looks like he might be ready. Because Struds, they've made back-to-back Stanley Cup finals and almost won it with him. Yes, he has lost the net in both playoff years. And he has lost the net at critical times. He has not proven himself to be Teflon in the playoffs. His numbers don't indicate he's a lock. I'm just saying, it's 25 games in. Those signs of improvement, I don't necessarily see them. I don't blame them if they don't either. And they might have to be starting to load things up a little bit and get ready because this might be heading in that direction now, Struts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, listen, I hear what you're saying, and I respect it. I'll say this: if they need to trade for a goaltender, it's not going to be cheap, and that might be their big acquisition for the year. So And to me, that'll be a failure. It'll be really hard for them to get back to where they want to if they have to do that. So I
I
listen,
would say,
maybe it's, go ahead.
just on that point, I would largely agree with you, but for the fact Jack Roslovic fell into their lap for nothing. And had that not happened, and then
Fair
they
point.
had to go get a goalie,
Yeah.
but I mean, they had a top 6 forward fall out of the sky for them that basically cost them half of what he should have. So if the core trade this year is a change in net and it actually makes a marked improvement, you can probably live with this group if they're reasonably healthy. Man, it's a big discussion. And, you know, it's 25 games. It's
Yeah.
time to have it, Struds. It's not early anymore. It's not about a slumber from last year. Like, it's past all that now. These are real signs. And Stan Bowman needs to be reading these tea leaves. This is very real stuff now. And I believe that's just where this situation is at right now. Big segment we just had. Lots of meat on the bone there. Let's get to our storyline of the day. Look, we didn't hit on this one, and this course is brought to you by our good friends over at Play Alberta with casino winners every hour. Jackpot's worth millions in revenue that stays in the province. There's never been a better time to sign up. Right now, you can score a $50 free bet when you make a minimum $50 deposit with the code GYB50. That's GYB50 for a $50 free bet. Start playing with your game sense today to find out if you're Alberta's next winner. So we wondered, Struds, if coming off the road, the Oilers would be able to dial it in defensively. We had the under boosted on 3.5 goals against by Skinner. And it was a disaster defensively. We've talked a lot about spirit and goaltending so far. Next segment, we're going to dig in deeply on defensive play and what the hell is going on. But Struds, just maybe give me a headline defensively on what you're seeing, and we'll dig into it more next segment.
Chaos. It's just chaos out there, and I'm sitting there watching it, and okay, that pairing doesn't have it. Okay, that pairing doesn't have it. Like it's complete chaos. And it's for a group that I know can do such a high level. It's really surprising to see this. And I'm just focusing on the D. I'm not even mentioning some of the decisions the forwards are making on the back check or on line change times. Like, it's incredible.
All right. Okay, Strud. So I'm just getting home here. Why don't you rip through crunching the numbers and get the YouTube poll out there as well? And you can even grab Relentless Player if you want. Blast off those segments, and then I will catch you for takeaways from inside the house in a few moments.
Okay, let's do this. Subi, what do you want to do? The McDonald's deeper dive?
Sure, let's crunch some numbers.
Okay, let's crunch the numbers then by McDonald's, brought to you by our good buddies at McDonald's. I had a milkshake today, a chocolate milkshake. It was delicious. To the ones who always ask for extra pickles, this one's for you. The Triple Pickle McCrispy. That's a tough one to say. Made with 100% Canadian-raised seasoned chicken, topped with shredded lettuce, crispy fried pickles, classic tangy pickles, savory dill pickle sauce, and served on a soft potato bun. For limited time only at participating McDonald's restaurants in Canada. So these are brought to our buddies over at Sport Logic, Zuby. So why don't you throw it up there and see what we got here, buddy?
Oh yeah, I was trying to get Schauger out of there and get myself in, but it's all good. Let's get to these very important numbers here.
Okay, so we're going to go through and show nightly after the game kind of what we've seen. So, geez, okay. We'll start with the puck per battle percentage win, and probably we can stop there, Zuby. You can see by this, the Oilers won 27% of the puck battles. These are 50-50 puck battles, and we'll give Dallas 73%. So that's a fairly significant margin of wins. Earlier I talked about the Oilers just not engaging it, and I think this is how you can show competitiveness with numbers. I truly feel that. This is me versus you. Who's going to come out with the puck? You're not going to win them all. There's no team that's going to win 100%. But when you lose, 75% of them nearly, Zoobs, this is a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, and I'm sure this, and we should point out always that these are always 5-on-5 stats unless we say otherwise. I'm sure this slanted as as the game went on. I bet it got worse period by period because the compete level went down, 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 and there were fewer puck battles. But yeah, I mean, it's a huge measure of the game, Struddy, and even before seeing these hard numbers, you can feel it, right? I mean, you can feel this watching
Oh
the
yeah.
game.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then the other one I want to highlight, so scoring chances off the cycle, 8-2 in favor of Dallas Stars. But the one that really blows me away is the ozone possession time. The Oilers 448, Dallas Stars 454. So it wasn't like they had the puck that much longer inside the ozone
Yeah.
against the Oilers. Now, but this tells me how often they broke down. When the puck was in their end, that Dallas was able to capitalize on poor decisions, poor D zones, whatever, a missed opportunity to make a save, like all these things. It wasn't like they were dominated in their zone; they were in their net, in their end, the entire night.
Yeah.
With the puck on their stick, Subi.
It wasn't dominating. It was bang bang plays, and there's a
Yeah.
there's a save or a post or a one timer and a second chance, and it's all Dallas guy. It looks like there's 3 Dallas guys with a second chance at it, and the Oilers. It feels like their perimeter, and I would say these numbers kind of support it. It feels like their perimeter in the offensive zone and perimeter in the defensive zone as well.
Yeah, which is probably not ideal.
No.
Either way. All right, so that was Crunching the Numbers, brought to you by our buddies at McDonald's that have the best chocolate milkshakes. Let's move on to our Relentless Player now, brought to you by You Can Youth Services. Need reliable entry-level staff? You Can trains Edmonton youth with the skills and confidence to show up ready to work and to grow with your team. Learn more and make a change today at youcan.ca. This is the easiest one I'll ever do in my life. I could do Relentless Player for another 50 years. Nightly, and I'll never come this easy than Connor Clattenburg, who came in 7 hits. I don't know if he even played 5 or 6 minutes, and he scored his first NHL goal. And Zuby, I love the way he reacted to that goal. Yes, celebrate it, young man. That's your first goal in your second game. There's nothing else going on. Bring the juice. The team had a bit of a bump after that emotionally. So I love that one, Zuby. Loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome. Felt great for it. Yeah, and that was the one moment in the game where it felt like him scoring that goal. It felt like this is their chance. We all know what happened, but it did. I felt like the celebration was warranted in that regard too. Of a kid who's there to bring energy, gets his first goal. Yeah, like help yourself, and maybe even that gets the guys up on the bench. This guy cares. Let's get going.
And he was physical. He had 7 hits tonight. Like, he was in there playing well. Knobloch was asked about him after the game, and what's going to happen with him. We don't know. He is not the solution to every problem the Oilers have. He can be part of it. He is very young though, and I think you got to be careful with putting too many expectations on this guy. And he does need to play. Like 6 minutes a night will not cut it long term for his development. So I wonder what happens. Does he get another game in Seattle or 2? And then maybe they plump him down there to just keep growing, not as a punishment saying, we don't like you. We really like you. We want you to get better. So we need you to play more than 6 minutes a night, which is really not much, Soups.
Yeah, I think they've shown the fact that he came, they had a few injuries here, but the fact that they even went to him, I think shows that they obviously like the kid. I think they're getting what they expected out of him, which is more than you can say for a lot of these players right now. So yeah, I think he's going to be maybe he's kind of up and down this year as they need him, but he stood out.
Yeah, this guy's an NHL player. Congratulations. He'll be an NHL player for sure. Should we do the poll, buddy?
Sure.
Let's keep the poll rolling here with the YouTube poll, brought to you by our buddies at DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Stock up with buy 3, get 1 free on all gloves. And check out all used inventory priced right at cost. Save $100 on Click Gear push carts, or power up with Power Caddy power carts and save $250. These deals and more all month long, located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. So Zuby, there was a lot of options for polls, but this one, I love this one for you as well. You nailed it on this one, buddy.
Yeah, well, Schauger had his finger on the pulse here. I was already kind of discussing it in the chat already when Schauger came through and suggested we go this way. So, and something I noticed as I was writing this was how many I was going to say, oh, which loss this season made you angrier? Oh, no, I should add which blowout loss. Oh, no, I should add which blowout loss at home. I had to keep at. I realized how many details and similarities, unfortunately, there were to these two games. But the question tonight is, which blowout home loss this season made you angrier? Probably some recency bias here, but I think it was, I don't know. This one tonight felt worse to me. I don't know if I'm angrier, but it felt like a worse loss. So the two choices were the Colorado game, the 9-1 thumping, and Dallas this evening, 8-3. Ugly stuff at home, man. That's rough. That's rough. I feel.
Yeah, I don't want to influence either way, but to me, my word would be they're both surprising. Like I didn't see them coming. Like a losing 5-3 or whatever 4-1, but losing 9-1 and 8-3. That's a shocker. Like that is a real rebuilding team getting pumped by, these alleged powerhouses in the Western Conference. So big surprise. Big surprise.
Yeah, as someone,
All right,
McGarnacle adding on the stream too, this one's worse because they were supposedly turning a corner after Colorado, and that was the wake-up call, right? The Colorado loss, that was the big wake-up call, supposedly, and not so much.
No, but listen, I'll leave it this. This team does things the hard way. They always have. They continue to show they never make it easy on themselves. So it's not over, but this one definitely stung today and is going to leave a bit of a bruise tomorrow morning. All right, let's pause here. When we come back, we'll get Rishaug back up online, and then Brownie will be joining us at some point.
We're going to have Brownie when we come back as well. Brownie will be here.
Give us a thumbs up on the way out the door. We'll be right back.
Why would you? Nobody puts in wood windows or siding anymore, so why put in wood fences? Maintenance-free vinyl fence from DLR is backed by a lifetime warranty and will save you time. Weekends are for playing, not painting. Go vinyl at dlrvinylproducts.ca.
At Modern Measure, every item of clothing starts from scratch and is designed from the ground up, based on both your style preferences and current fashion trends. Their clothing is fully designed to give you the exact look you're looking for, down to the smallest details and customization. The Modern team will work with you to make sure that you not only look and feel great, but make the most of your investment. On the ground floor of Edmonton Tower downtown, Modern Measure. All right, rolling right along. Time now for takeaways, brought to you by Chandos Construction. Chandos doesn't just hire talent, they invest in it. They are 100% employee owned, so when their people grow, the whole company grows too. Ready to build something that matters? Apply now at chandos.com/apply. As Rob Brown checks into the show, having wrapped up his show over on 880 Ched. So Brownie, Struds and I dug in a lot in that opening segment on compete level. We dug in on goaltending, and we are going to get your thoughts on those things. But to keep the conversation flowing, we need to dig into defensively what's going on with this group and how bad it has been. They are a shadow of themselves in previous years. They're one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Their players have taken turns playing some of the worst hockey of their careers, at times, all of them at the same time this year. It's been a disaster defensively, and tonight is a pretty good example of that. What are you saying about all that, bud?
Well, you're right on all of those things. I mean, just look at the first period alone. They scored 4 goals. On 2 of the goals, there was Dallas Stars had options of who was going to shoot it into the empty net. There was, like, the overhead pitcher would have had all the Oiler players in the picture and none of them doing anything. I mean, the goal, there's 3 Dallas Stars on the net. And wherever the rebound went, they were going to shoot it into the empty net because no one was covering them. And that's happening over and over and over again. On Connor McDavid on a back check, it's a 3-on-3. And this is what I've been saying all season long. I don't know if this is what they're supposed to do, but they do it every single time. the 3-on-3, which is very simple. D-man takes guy with puck. Forward comes back through the middle of the ice. He takes the high guy. Connor McDavid goes to Ekholm's guy. Wyatt Johnson says, thank you very much. Throws it to Ben for a wide open shot. McDavid can't do that. And then the other goal that was the 2-on-1, Trent Frederick changes on an odd man break. He leaves the ice. Like, that, again, is a defensive play. So the Oilers defensively, there's no assertiveness. There's no, as you said, no compete, no urgency, no desperation. I've never seen teams have so many open looks without anyone touching them. And that's not just tonight against Dallas. That was against Colorado. That has been the bugaboo of the Oilers all season long. Players in front of the Oilers net that have time and space to take a shot. And when you play good teams, they will make you pay. And tonight, the Dallas Stars made them pay.
You know, just to jump on that one you talked about, I think you're talking about the 2-on-1 when Frederick changes. So you watch the forwards, I'm watching the D. Kulak steps up there, and he Bastian gets by him, and so does the puck. He doesn't stop the puck or the man. And if you're a D-man, you have to stop one of them. That's exact. So I think Trent was probably, okay, I'm just going to change here, not to excuse his play, but it looks like we're 2-on-2, we're fine. Then also 2 seconds later, it's a breakaway because Kulak didn't do his job. So now we're compounding problems. A bad change, bad pinch, or bad play, bad strong play at the blue line, trying to do the right thing, doesn't get it done, and then a short side goal. It's like bang, 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 3 mistakes all at once.
Yeah, some pretty ugly stuff.
Yep,
Go ahead, Brownie.
No, I agree with you. But, I mean, as a forward coming back, I have to make sure you don't change unless you have puck. Unless you have the puck or you're dumping it in and changing. You just, on a back check, you don't. And that's just and Frederick knew it because when he stopped at the bench, he kind of looked and like, oh no. So they just mistake after mistake after mistake. There's just zero desperation defensively for the Edmonton Oilers.
Brownie, I want you to chime in on competitiveness and goaltending here. Let's start with goaltending because Struds and I had a big discussion in the last segment. Certainly not the only problem tonight. Far from the solution tonight. So we had the tonight discussion and then the big picture discussion. Give me your thoughts on tonight, and then we'll take it bigger picture.
Not good enough tonight. I mean, in the first period, they weren't Skinner's fault, the goals, but he didn't make a save. And Ottinger had a breakaway. Roslovic had a breakaway in the first period. Ottinger made the save. Mangiapane had a partial breakaway. Ottinger made the save. The Oilers aren't getting the saves, and right now the Oilers are a terrible defensive team that's not getting saves. That's a terrible combination. So the goaltending was not good. They had a .730 save percentage in this hockey game. That's not good enough. Big picture. It's almost getting to the point now, and I've been behind Skinner the whole way, and I still said that Skinner will be starting game 1 of the playoffs. But it's getting to the point right now that they might force the hand. The poor defensive play and the lack of the big save might force Stan Bowman to make a move that he probably doesn't want to make at this point of the season because he's got a team right now that is treading water.
Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. And I think it's about the team treading water, but I also think it's about what the goaltender is signaling to him. Like the goaltender is signaling to him that not a lot has changed. You know, and I don't believe Bowman can let it ride on Stuart Skinner another playoff year, right? Stuart Skinner needed to come back this season and show that he's made some improvements and that his game has matured and that there's progress there. And so far, it's like he isn't the main problem, but he certainly isn't the solution. And he's running out of rope here. Like it's getting to be the end of November and, you know, decision time is in the not too distant future here. So I agree with you. I think we're now in that zone where it's starting to look like we have a sense of which way this is going to go, barring a dramatic turnaround from them.
Well, and to add to that too, which is kind of unique, Stuart Skinner's from here. He's got family here. He's got friends here. You were in the rink tonight when Calvin Pickard stopped a shot from 40 feet out tonight. The place erupted with cheers. and that was sent at Stuart Skinner. So the mental part of it, and Stuart Skinner could be the strongest mentally fit athlete in the world, but if you're in a city where all your family and friends are reading the social media, are reading the newspapers, are feeling the entire weight of the city on you day in, day out, it's got to wear on you. And it's wore on other players that have been here before where the fans have got on them, and those players had a hard time playing. So it might almost be a relief not for Stan Bowman to move on. Maybe Stuart's going to go elsewhere at some point and finds his true game. But it is getting tough right now for Skinner because of the pressure on him. And he just has not, as you said, taken the strides forward that this team right now desperately needs from him.
You're the coach of the Edmonton Oilers. Obviously, tomorrow is going to be a day off. Then they have 2 days of practice. What is your priority in those practices?
It's got to be defensive play, because they honestly, and I joked about it before, where they came up with a brand new book this year of how they're going to play defensively, but nobody has read it yet. They have no idea in their own zone. Like, there's no assertiveness. How many times have we seen in the last month where the opposition scores and the Oiler defensemen or Oiler forwards are watching him because they decide, like, it'd be better if the Oilers were making mistakes where 3 guys are going to 1. At least there's an assertiveness of it. Right now, there's just guys standing in front of the net, and is that your guy or is that my guy? And you know Struds as well as I do. Slight hesitation defensively, you're done. The players are too talented right now. If you hesitate, they're going to make you look silly. So it's got to be defensive zone coverage is what they've got to work on. But the problem for the Oilers, and this is what Craig Berube talked about with the Toronto Maple Leafs, you got a tired hockey club with a bunch of injuries that need rest, yet they're playing without any urgency, any desperation. You need battle. What do you go with in a practice? But to me, go back to your question, it's got to be defensive coverage, because right now that is their biggest weakness.
Brownie, competitiveness, figuring out ways to ignite their night when they're flat, figuring out ways to pull themselves back into games, just not being flat, just not being a flat group. I asked Knobloch how big a concern it was for him. He doesn't feel like the group has given up. He just thinks that they're a little beaten down and kind of down on themselves. Where are you at concern-wise with this group's seeming unwillingness to bring the compete level required to just be a decent NHL team night in, night out here?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious. There was one player that was noticeable tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, Connor Clattenburg, because he played with a compete and an urgency and a desperation that he needs to play with. He knows that every shift might be his last shift, but he plays that way. And he brought a physicality, and he brought a meanness to his game, a compete level. In talent-wise, he would probably be at the bottom of the totem pole for the Edmonton Oilers, but he was the most noticeable player tonight because of his compete. So if you noticed him because of his compete, it's because everyone else didn't have it. There's just a lack of urgency amongst the Oilers players. And again, I go back to what I've talked about for a long time. I do not know the identity of this hockey team. And I don't know if the players understand what their roles are in this hockey team. And I think that goes into the compete level of this team. Am I a hitter, or am I supposed to make plays? Am I a defensive player, or are you going to put me in a situation where I can help the team win, or am I just going to sit on the bench and watch other players play? I just think the compete level is not anywhere near where it needs to be for a team that has aspirations of winning a Stanley Cup.
All right. Go ahead, Struds. Did you have something there, buddy?
No.
You good?
It's good.
Good.
Yep.
You took a deep breath like you were going to bring some wisdom.
Yeah. No, I'm good. No wisdom here. I just, honestly, I was sitting there watching the game. I like, what do you even say? It's crazy that this is how this team is performing at this level.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Did you guys get Relentless Player done, Struds?
Yeah, Relentless, YouTube poll. We banged them out, buddy. We're on
Wow.
fire.
You guys were crushing it. All right, let's push through to our core adjustments. And our core adjustments are brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you need a safety program, they will build it. If you need it managed, they can do that for you too. And if you're stuck dealing with the online safety registries that your clients make you sign up for, they handle those as well. And yes, they do core audits as well. If you own a business, you know what this stuff is. If you don't, you might not. But if you own one, you know, and HSE Core is there for you. www.hsecor.com. I want to focus a little bit on the big boys here. Draisaitl, I think he's got 1 goal in his last 5. McDavid has 1 goal in his last 5. The production has dropped off a little bit here for these guys. Quality of play as well. Look, they're the first to step up and say, I need to be better. I asked them both tonight where they're at with their own games as we go back to the Weiss Johnson sound box. Here's that sound, Zobi. Just roll them back to back.
I think it stems from.
Sorry, wrong one. This one.
Yeah, I could definitely be better. Certainly be better. My job to push the play, and I haven't been doing that.
Yeah, just out of sorts a little bit. Not feeling it. So, yeah, take a look in the mirror, and I'll make sure I'll be better.
Not exactly a deep dive, but you don't expect that after a loss like tonight. They answered the question. Fair enough. What role do Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl play in this being where it is and the fact that it hasn't gotten sorted out yet, Brownie? What about these two all-world players specifically and their part in all of this?
Well, I think when we go back, when we talk about goaltending, when we talk about defense, I mean, they're part of the problem. I think there's been flashes of brilliance from both of them this year, but there's also been nights where you don't notice them. In the last 10 games, the best player for the Edmonton Oilers is Jack Roslovic. He's outplayed both of them. I honestly think watching them play the last while, they both look tired. Like they're making tired passes, tired giveaways. I've said in the past that Connor and Leon can go a month without making a bad pass. They're that good. When their game is on, they don't make mistakes. And you're seeing Leon, the puck behind the net tonight turns into a goal. Connor on the power play, turning the puck over time and time again. Those plays never happen. So to me, part of the problem, I just think they look both physically and mentally fatigued, and that probably has to do with the schedule, has to do with how much they've played the last couple of years, and also has to do, and we've talked about it, and Struds bangs the drum on this, how much they play each and every night. That eventually, even superstars, people that seem superhuman at times, they tire. And I think to me, Connor and Leon both look tired.
Yeah, really well said. And I've beat the hell out of that drum, Brownie, really badly. I beat it. And they are playing too much. But let me throw this at you guys. The game is out of reach at the end, near the end of the second period. Just sit them down. Say, guys, you're done. You're done. Just rest. If you want, go take your skates off, hit the hot tub early, whatever. Why do you continue to play them? It makes no sense. What is the best thing that's going to happen there? Are you really think you're coming back? To me, it makes, I was sitting there watching, I'm like, why are these guys playing? They've played so much hockey just this year. Just look at these stretch of games. They're up there amongst the league leaders in ice time. Guys, I don't understand it. I'm like, sit them. Say, boys, you're done. Take your skates off. Relax. You're done.
That's interesting. I wonder how they respond to being, that's essentially benching them, but the message on the bench is not, it's not punitive, Struds. But if you sit those guys for a period, then we're rolling in there after the game, asking for both of them, saying, how did you feel about the fact that you were, that you were sad or that you were benched or that you, I don't know if you just sit those guys for a period and take them out of the fight, Brownie.
I wouldn't even hesitate. I would not even hesitate.
Really?
What would you do, Brownie? What do you think?
No, I would not bench them. Okay, what I wouldn't have done earlier in the game when they had the 4-on-4, They played the first minute of the fourth floor, then there was a whistle, and then they put them back out again. I just think they're not giving enough roles to other players. So other players are just afterthoughts. Okay, Connor and Leon are going to win the game for us, and if they don't, okay, we'll lose, but we'll talk about the lack of depth. I think they got to start playing other players in situations. And I understand Connor and Leon are the two best and give you the best chance, but you have to make it feel like a team. And I think that's what you've talked about a lot in the past. And I agree with that. As for once the game's out of reach, you can't sit them for a period and a half. You roll 4 lines, maybe play them with their line mates so they can find some chemistry. And then the last 7 minutes of the game, 8 minutes of the game, then you can sit them down and roll all your role players the last 7-8 minutes. But you can't go a period and a half. See, they wouldn't let you do it for what?
Five shifts.
I wouldn't even hesitate. I just you're not going out there. So they lost Trent Frederick, and they take those 2 out. So you roll 3 lines. So those 3 lines of guys would get a massive amount of ice time. It's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I wouldn't even hesitate. Then after the game, when they walk in, why'd you bench him? I didn't bench him. I gave him a stay of execution. They played so much for us. These guys deserve a break. They've been so much for us. They don't need to be out there when it's a bloodbath. And not that they're innocent in what happened in that game, but they don't need to be out there. And I tell that to Connor and Leon, like, buddy, I'm the adult in the room. This is my call. Done. Lock it.
Struds, they played under 5 minutes each in the third.
They should have played 0. They should have after I just would have been, you're done. You're done.
There you go. You're done. Uncle Struddy says, sit down, fellas. Undo your skates.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying relax, rest. Yeah. It's not sit down, because that's going to get out there that I need to bench Connor Leon. That's not at all what I'm saying.
No, I know what you're saying.
You're done.
I just think it's hard to delineate the two. It's hard to. Everybody hears.
It's not.
I mean, you better be screaming that message loud and clear post game to everyone that will listen. Wasn't punitive. Punitive. Didn't bench him.
And you're losing 6-1. Do you really think you're coming back as a coach? You just say, listen, we weren't coming back. They've played a lot for us. I rested them the rest of the period, or the rest half the game.
I love it.
Done. That's it.
Okay. That was Core Adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Quick break. When we come back, we got Brownie Points and we got Struddy's World. We'll take a lap and ask us anything. Oh, the stream is hopping tonight. Lots of conversation and dialogue going in there. Some great stuff. We thanks you for your contributions. Lots more to dig in here on the show. This is Got Your Back, presented by Timber House Developments. We'll be right back.
Riverside Motorsports is your ultimate multi-brand dealer. With a massive lineup of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles, all under one roof. With Alberta's best selection, a huge parts and accessories inventory, and a fully certified service department, Riverside has everything you need to ride. Family-owned and serving Edmonton for over 55 years, see what they have to offer in-store just off St. Albert Trail or online at riversidemotorsports.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
Time now for Brownie Points, and that is brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Get 10 years of built-in confidence at your Alberta Ram Dealers with Canada's best full-size truck limited powertrain warranty. Every new 2026 Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. See your Ram dealer today. Rob?
Well, let's start with the positive. I'm going to give 64 brownie points to the Oilers' best player tonight, Connor Clattenburg. The kid came as advertised, hit everything in sight, leading the team with 7, got involved with a couple different stars, and then scored his first ever National Hockey League goal. And the goal that he scored was set up by his big hit on the forecheck, just 20 seconds earlier. He was so noticeable tonight because he played with a desperation and an energy that has been lacking so many nights from the rest of the team. I got minus 21 brownie points to the Oilers home cooking because in the last 3 Oiler home games, the Oilers have given up 21 goals. 3 games, 21 goals. 9-1 and 8-3 losses, and they won 5-4 against Columbus, but gave up 4 in that one as well. This team was successful because of their strong defensive play in the past. They are bad defensively right now, and their goalies are giving them no big stops. That is a horrible combination. I'm taking away 8 brownie points to the Oilers' defensive compete and urgency. If you go back through the goals tonight, there were too many Dallas goals where the Oilers had players in the right area, but there was no desperation or urgency to stop or even disrupt the Dallas shot. 4 line changes, 4 decisions on the back check. It was way too easy for the Dallas Stars to score goals. I counted 6 goals tonight that Dallas scored without any Oiler player contesting them. Doesn't matter who's in net, the Oilers were not winning tonight's hockey game. Speaking of goalies, I'm taking away 733 of the brownie points from the Oilers goalie duo of Skinner and Pickard. This game in the season is not solely on the back of these 2 goalies, but a 733 save percentage isn't nearly good enough, and that's what it was tonight. And the noise is going to get louder and louder for these goalies if they don't find their game soon. And at some point, a move might be made just for the sanity of the team and the sanity of the goalies. And my final one, we're going to go outside of this game tonight because there's not a lot of good things to talk about. I'm taking away 77 brownie points from Everton soccer player Idrissa Gana Gueye, who was given a red card and kicked out of the game for slapping his own teammate across the face. Gana Gueye was unhappy with his teammates, and he showed him. He walked up, slapped him across the face. The ref saw the slap, and he gave Gana Gueye a red card and forced Everton to play one man short for 77 minutes. And those tonight are my brownie points.
Wow. Hey,
That's funny.
would that happen in a hockey game? If you two-handed your teammate, would you get two for slashing?
Well, I know that in junior when I played, there was 2 brothers. I think they were the Poole brothers. I think they were. And they got into a fight against each other, and they were on the same team. They were playing for, I think, Portland at that time. And they got a penalty for the fight. So I don't know. I don't know if Connor decided he had enough and went up and two-handed Leon across the back of the legs. I'm not sure if Connor would get a penalty or not. But
what did brothers
soccer,
get? Delay a game?
You're kicked out of the game. I guess so.
Okay, you can kill the music there, Zuby. Really quick, Brownie, before we get to the next segment, you talked about a couple times tonight about Stan Bowman having to make a trade. He probably doesn't want to right now. I talked about it a little bit last segment as well. Let's dig in a little bit. Jordan Binnington has been the rumor that's been bouncing around a little bit. Kippy's mentioned it. A few others have mentioned it. There's a certain amount of sense that it makes just given his big game success in his history, right? He's won big games, showed a really, really high level. His numbers this year, it's rough. He's got a .313 and an .880. Like, the numbers are rough, but he's playing on a team that is not very good. He also makes $6 million this season, major discrepancy in salary between he and Skinner, and he has another year sitting at that $6 million as well. So if Doug Armstrong is open for business, it's going to be complicated to figure out how to get Binnington in and Skinner out, making up the discrepancy in the value and the discrepancy in the dollars. So while there might be some hockey sense to this, Struds, there's some juggling and some difficulty in executing it.
That's the complicating factor here. You know, I Jordan Binnington, yeah, you know, he is struggling this year. He's not what he is, but I think he's a guy that can elevate himself. But the trade is really complicated. You know, he's at 6. What's Stu? Just about 3.
2.6,
so
yeah, I
is
think.
St. Louis going to chop that down and eat half for 2 years, you know, to make that trade? And then what does that cost, right? You're trading for the player and you're trading for the half, if that's what you're doing. So the Oilers don't have a first pick this year. You know, are they willing to move off of Isaac Howard? Are you willing to move off I bet you even Cloudberg would have some cachet, not a ton, but I think he's a guy that's there. Maybe their youngish goaltender, the young Swede, that's doing pretty well this year. So it complicates things, guys. It's not going to be easy, and whatever goes out, it's going to be expensive.
Well, that's the biggest thing, and that's why it's hard to see an Oiler move that the Oilers want, simply because you're going to have to get rid of salary. I mean, Skinner goes back, but you're still making up $3.5 million this year. Where do you get that from? Where is it going to? I mean, how much does St. Louis want to shave off for you? And if they shave money off for you, well, now you're going to have to sweeten the pot. And St. Louis isn't in a rebuild. I wouldn't think. They got some pretty good players. They're going to want players that can play. And the Oilers don't really have anything on their farm other than Isaac Howard. So it is complicated. Now, I guess that's why you get paid the big money if you're Stan Bowman. But and the other one you always hear is Saros in Nashville. He's having a horrendous season. And he's got, I think, 3 or 4 more years at $7 million. So they were really hoping that Stuart Skinner would take steps forward this year, simply because it makes life so much easier for Stan Bowman. The way the Oilers have played, and unfortunately the way both goaltenders have played, are making Stan Bowman's job much, much harder.
Yep, agree with you there. Okay, there'll be lots more of that discussion here in the days and weeks that follow. That was Brownie Points, brought to you by the Alberta Ram Dealers. Let's put the big guy center stage. Zuby, roll the animation. Time for Struddy's World.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by Bad Realty at Royal LePage, AR Team Realty. Buying a home is a big decision, and the team at Body Realty guides clients through the complex process with expertise and care, providing unwavering support even after those keys are handed over. Their clients will say they truly make you feel like the only client they have. They take great care of you. Visit bodyrealty.com. That's BHATTI realty.com. All right, Struds.
All right, hope everyone has their metal boots on, and I'm going to start dropping some excuses on you, so be ready. Practice. I believe in practice, and I think is a famous quote of Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice? Yeah, we're talking about it. And the Oilers haven't practiced in 2 weeks. They haven't practiced in 2 weeks. Now, the guys at the top of the lineup, it's like, okay, no problem. They play a lot. Your Conner, Leons, your Bouchards, and that. They practice a lot. They probably don't want to. Or maybe they don't need to as much. The guys at the bottom half, they want to get out there. They want to touch the puck. They want to feel it. They want to make sure that they're moving well. And those things you can only do in regular practice. Yeah, you get a little bit in the morning skate, but it's pretty casual, not very intense. You don't really get a lot during practice. You may have to do it before and after. But when I watch this team, they don't look sharp. The only way to improve your defensive play is by going through it and getting reps. There's no other way. You can show me video for the rest of my life. I'll never be able to dunk. But you get me out there working on it, jumping, I'll be able to dunk eventually. It's the same when you're looking at the defensive zone coverage and quite frankly, puck managed in that area. And the Oilers look so out of sorts. They haven't practiced in 2 weeks. Just think about that. Haven't had a team practice in over 2 weeks. It's insanity. It's absolutely insanity. So they're trying to find it. They're working hard at different times. And then tonight it collapses. Yeah, I believe it. But there's been other games that have been really bad defensively. So I think that this next little stretch with the T-zone coverage is going to be massive. New system, old system. I don't care what system it is. It's habits. But the practicing and not having it, I think that's a huge part of what this group has dealt with and been a challenge for them. And I think, honestly, you can put some of this at Knobloch's feet. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. They need to do some D-zone coverage. I recognize they're tired, but they had to do it, some of it, in their morning skates. Got to do it. If you have no other practices, you've got to do it sometime. Otherwise, it never gets better and it continues to bleed out.
I mean, good point, Struts. Their defensive zone coverage has been horrible. And again, I don't even know if they've changed anything, but you can't tell because no one has any idea what they're doing. There's no communication. there's so many misplays, so many guys going to the wrong position. And the biggest thing, there's no assertiveness. And when players aren't assertive, it means they're confused, because that's why they're hesitating. So I don't know what is wrong with it, but you're 100% right. This team is not going to get better until they become a better defensive team in their own zone.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. and I'll certainly take your word for it, Struds, that when there's this much disorganization and issues going on the ice defensively, mistakes where they're all looking at each other going, that happened again? Again? Like the same things over and over and over again, that those quality reps in practice can make a marked difference in that. That it's not, you can't necessarily make that adjustment in game, in between periods, in the moment. It's just not as meaningful as practice time.
It's not even close. It's when it's at this level, you're not breathing new life into this thing off the mat, right? You need to be out there and feeling it and working through it. Oh, Rishaug, you're in the wrong place. Brownie, you did this wrong. Strudwick, you did this wrong. Like, call people out so we all know. And then you start to feel it. And that's how you get confidence. You start to feel it and the flow, what it looks like, the layers they have to get through to get to your net, how you battle in front. And that's the same at every level. And it's still the same at the NHL. So again, I guess I am making excuses for the team. But now what I'm saying is I'm challenging the group to improve with some practice time, their defensive play. And we should start seeing an uptick because of some of the time that we'll have to practice.
Yeah, 3 days before their next game here, they play on Saturday. I'd expect there'd be a couple of practices in there and then maybe an option. Oh, it's an afternoon game on the Saturday. So because it's an afternoon game on the Saturday, they're going to want to practice on Friday. So my guess is one of the next 2 days is an off day. They've got an autograph signing on the Thursday. Yeah, I could see 2 practices before that game on Saturday, Struds.
You have to. Even if the guys are tired, I just don't see any other way out of it. You got to do it. You guys, we got to practice now. It looks like tomorrow's a day off. I get there's an autograph signing Thursday night, which is always great for the fans and good of the team to be a part of. I still would have practiced tomorrow and Friday, and then they would have had a lot of time off in there to rest. But if they practice Thursday and take Friday off, I'll be as a hockey thinker, I'd be disappointed.
You can't take Friday off. You can't. It's a 2:00 start on Saturday.
I know, but if they
That'd
feel the group's
crazy.
tired, they might. Let's see what happens. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah. Anything else on that, Brownie?
No, they'll practice Friday. They'll practice Friday and get on a plane afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Body Realty. Brownie, good job tonight, buddy. Thank you kindly. And we're going to have an off-night pod. Our next show is going to be on Thursday night. So I'm sure we'll have lots more great stuff to discuss. What?
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we get to see you in studio. We got the real Rob Brown in person.
I look forward to it. You two have a wonderful night. Pleasure talking to you.
See you, buddy.
See you, big guy.
Right.
Bye-bye.
That is Rob Brown. Struds, we're going to do a scoreboard tonight, but basically what we're going to do is take a look at the standings. Give me a couple of thoughts on where the Oilers sit, what you read into it. There are some positive signs given maybe what some other teams are doing and such, but given they were the only game in the league tonight, we'll do our standings board, brought to you by the Bridge Sports Therapy, where they offer a comprehensive approach that extends beyond temporary pain relief and focuses on developing long-term strength and resilience. With clinics at Edmonton, Sherwood Park, Lethbridge, and opening soon in St. Albert. Learn more at thebridge.fit. Take us through it, Struds. How do you feel about their positioning in the moment?
So, well, let's look at the huge picture here. And in the whole league, the Oilers are 23rd. Now, they've played, I think, the most games in the league at 25, but they have 25 points. And there are 7 other teams with 25 points in the league. Now, as I mentioned, there's a lot of teams that have played way less games than Oilers. Oilers are well above. There's teams that still 21 games, and they've played it. But I guess the point I'm making is they're still not in a horrible spot. Now, when other teams catch up, they could be. Like currently, they're 2 spots out of a wild card spot. in the Western Conference, and they haven't even played close to their potential. So it feels like doom and gloom tonight. And my phone is blowing up. I said to the guys, my buddies, like, just take a look at the standings. Take a look at the standings. And yeah, you know, in 2 weeks, they could be 4 points out of a playoff spot. But for the Oilers, that's nothing. That is nothing. They can roll out 10 wins in a row when they get their game organized and they're rested and they get healthy.
I'm just taking a look to the standings too at teams that are even close to them as far as away games go. Like the Oilers are at 16. The Kings have 14. Taking a quick peek here, like, you know, Vancouver's got a dozen. 14 the Calgary Flames have. So, the Oilers have played the most games on the road. No question having these trips out of the way is going to serve them well later on in the season. But again, the issues that they're having, the sense of urgency should be high enough to kind of transcend a tough schedule. They got to find a way to power through on the competitive spirit side of things and be better than they have been lately. That is our standings, brought to you by The Bridge Sports Therapy and Training. When we come back, we'll take a quick lap around the league, see what else is going on, then ask us anything. Fantastic live stream tonight. Over 500 with us on YouTube right now. An absolute pile over on X as well. Appreciate all your contributions. We'll get to that coming up after the break. Mainline Water and Sewer specializes in sewer line repair and replacement using advanced trenchless methods for fast, clean results. They provide detailed sewer assessments and scoping to identify problems before they become costly. Serving both residential and commercial properties, no job is too big or too small, and with over 40 years of experience, they've seen it all. Trust Mainline to keep your lines flowing smoothly.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
This theme song is your elixir. It's your potion, your pathway to feeling better on a night where it was a tough one if you're an Oiler fan. Oh, time to take a couple of laps, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports, your multi-brand motorsports dealer serving Edmonton and area for over 55 years. They got a big selection of new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-side, snow bikes, e-bikes, snowmobiles. They got a lot of fantastic stuff in there. Warehouse filled with fun is what that is. Located just off St. Albert Trail, or check them out online, www.riversidemotorsports.com. Struds, where else are we going tonight?
Well, tonight this is dominated mostly by the Canucks. And I had a coach one time tell me that, you know, no one cares if you have problems. Half of the people don't care that you have it, and the other 50% are glad you have problems. When it comes to Canucks, they've got a lot of problems. So there's a report out there recently that the Canucks are open for business with their UFAs, that they're going to start moving out UFAs.
Yeah.
Those types of players that are pending UFAs include former Edmonton Oilers Evander Kane, Teddy Blueger, Kiefer Sherwood, who's absolutely buzzing this year, and then David Kampf. I'm not sure what the value is of a guy they got, but those are four players that could be. Derek Forbort, he's on long-term LTIR in English. So there's 4 or 5 players there. You know, I think there's a few that would be very of interest for playoff teams. Now, I'm not sure, but maybe at some point here, Schauger.
So Struds, for me, this was simple for me. Like, this was, without saying Kiefer Sherwood's name specifically, they're trying to sell high on Kiefer Sherwood here. Like, that's
okay.
Letting the league know that all of our UFAs are available. Like, Kiefer Sherwood is knocking it out of the park, and his value is through the roof And what are the chances he's going to maintain this level of play through to trade deadline? So if you can find a team desperate enough, you're selling as high as you will all season long on a player that has not come out of nowhere, but holy snap. So that's the one I'm really interested to see. If they will get someone to bite hard on what will be an expensive Kiefer Sherwood right now and a great season and lots of goals.
Yeah, so for people that aren't familiar with him, he plays a lot of energy. He gets tons of hit, like massive amounts of hits, and he's scoring like crazy right now. So pretty big deal. The Canucks are heading out on a road trip, and I stick with them. So Demko's been out. As we know, it sounds like he will go on the road trip with them. Unsure as of the taping of this if he's going to play or when he'll play on that road trip. But Kevin Lankinen, the hero of the season last year, signed a big contract. He's leaving the team for personal reasons, or won't go with the team on the road for personal reasons. Unsure what that is, and it doesn't matter. But Lankinen hasn't had a great start to the year. You've got now Thatcher Demko at some point coming back from injuries. So in the meantime, you have two AHL netminders that are holding the fort for the Canucks and their first-year coach, Adam Foote. So there's a lot going around there. And not to mention, Quinn Hughes, pending free agency, is knocking on that door all the time. So I think I'm predicting a pretty wild and exciting next, what do you want to call it, Chugger? 8 to 9 months for the Vancouver Canucks. I think that takes us into August, maybe, or somewhere in there.
Yeah. She gonna be up and down for sure. How about that, Blominator? You got your own private little segment here on Got Your Back tonight. That was the Vancouver Canucks. All things Canucks, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports as we take a lap around the league. All right, Zuby, let's get to Ask Us Anything. Hop in here, buddy. Let's wrap up the poll. We asked people, which one bothered you more? Which of the losses bothered you more? Zuby, you're the voice of the fan for us. Which one bothered you more?
This one bothered me more because it was the second one. Supposedly they already had the wake-up call. They got another one. The wake-up call already happened against a team I believe to be a superior team, or at least the lineup that they iced that night. Dallas is very good, but this isn't even their best. This isn't even the best they have to offer. So I would certainly have voted tonight. I don't think that's recency bias. Maybe it is. I expected more recency bias in the results, which was that tonight's game did win the poll of which blowout home loss this season made you angrier. Dallas, 64%. Colorado, 36%. I thought it might have gone even further than that, but the people, very level-headed folks on the stream, really taking stock.
The Dallas Stars missing two of their best three players tonight, Struds. Let that sink in. No Harley and no big guy,
Nico.
Rantanen.
Yeah.
And they did that to the Oilers without two of their three best players.
Yeah. Well, I thought, quite frankly, it was their kind of unsung guys that were doing a lot of the damage. Jamie Benn scored his 400th goal of the game or the year. Of his career. Bastion's another guy who has scored. Sam Steele scored. I think those are three of the first four goals. I might be wrong, but the point, what I'm saying, it wasn't like they were getting lit up by those guys. And the power play got going, and others started getting points as well. Should have mentioned the Oilers PK gave up 3 tonight. That's a kick in the junk too. Holy mama.
Ask Us Anything is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. Rates are falling, the market's heating up, and that means opportunity. Maria Gallus has the lender connections and the strategy to get you more options than the bank ever will. Don't settle for average. Check out mortgagesbymaria.ca. A live stream tonight. Zuby, let's rip through a bunch and call it a night.
Okay, we will. It's harder to, everyone's angry. Some of the questions are a little bit more less based in reality and a little bit more unhinged. So tonight we might acknowledge some of those questions. You guys can just shut them down if you want. On the topic of goaltending, a bunch of comments here, and I thought people were, but surprisingly, well, I guess I'm not including them, but sort of level-headed about this, seeing both sides of it. Canadian says Skinner is a poor player reader and has the worst athleticism in the league. He's not going to steal games for another team either. Guessing is easy, says Can we finally admit we need a new goalie? Yes, we need better defense, coaching, and Claddy's spirit, but come on, someone needs to read the puck better in the pipes. Quinn Makeup says, anyone thinking a goalie is saving this team is delusional. The team stinks. Stuart Rosno, doesn't matter if Binnington or Saros is in net, Oil aren't winning with A, that effort, B, poor defending. Okay, let me get to, on the same topic here, still more of a question. K. Gill, who's he's angry, says, when the first shot on net goes in, how do you expect the team not to be flat? It's happened almost 10 games in 10 games now. That I think we want more big saves, but there can be time. You don't expect them to save every grade A opportunity, but there are timely saves to be made in a game. And this is a team obviously that deflates quickly, or so it would seem. Struddy, do you think you can hope for a guy to do that for you?
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, every time, like when's the timely save? The first shot of the game? Is it the 8th shot of the game? Like, just go back, for those that, I guess it's hard because unless you taped it, just watch always 20, 30 seconds before the goal goes in. And that's, I think, I get my frustration. And I think we've heard the coaches and the players talk about, we have to manage the puck better. And I truly believe that. I truly believe in my soul. That's the most important thing that the Oilers need to work on right now. Defending and puck management. The net minding, if it continues to be poor after that, if it doesn't elevate with better play in front, then no problem. I will sign off on the trade that everybody wants to have. Without that, I can't. It's hard to judge the goalies. There's no goalie in there that's going to make a difference right now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're far from the only problem, but they are a problem. And they're definitely not the solution, and they need to make a difference more often than they do. Stanley Cup championship teams have goaltenders that make a difference fairly often. And these guys have had a couple of nights like that, but they're very few and far between. So it's just not where it needs to be. And the team play, both can be true at the same time, Struds. Like I firmly believe both can be true at the same time. The team can be horrendous defensively, and the quality of the goaltender's play can also not be high enough. One doesn't always have to lead directly to the other. I think you can understand there are those that there was no chance on and egregious errors and such, but then also realize a lot of moments where, just not good enough. And that's on the goaltenders too. So
Stephen Petrick wants to know, who is it more on for this team being docile, I think is what he was going for here, the GM or the coach? Shogger, I'll go to you on that first because this is something that you have strong feelings about, but it's kind of an interesting thought. Is this the team's construction, or is it that the coach doesn't encourage or seem to reward or rely on that physicality?
Yeah, I would say that I'll probably put it more on the coaching staff. Like, I think if you are Stan Bowman and you're evaluating the group, you look at it in this way, you go, okay, Podkolzin can play with some bite, and Frederick is supposed to play with some bite. Nurse can play with some bite. Kapanen, when he's in and motivated, plays hard and can hit hard. And there's, Janmark plays hard and competes. So you look at it and you go, there should be enough guys in this lineup who, can push that agenda when they need it. I can understand Bowman looking at it and going, we might decide to add to that element, but probably okay getting going. But I do think it's more upon the coaching staff to set an expectation level of more players and reward players who show it. So I've said this consistently since Knobloch arrived. There's a docile nature that this team is allowed to get away with that I think many other coaches would intervene.
I'd put an asterisk beside it saying that is true in the regular season.
Yeah, sure. Zach Hyman decided to throw 11 hits a game in the playoffs, and then Zach Hyman got hurt and they stopped doing it. He skewed the stats so dramatically. And yeah, they got more physical in the playoffs. They did, Struds. But that's not helping them right now. I mean, they're 25 games into a season and having an existential crisis, and nobody seems to be able to rise the emotional level to pull them out of it. So, yeah, I guess wait to flip the switch in the playoffs. Hyman will do it and run himself ragged. But, if it's not second nature, If you don't know how to do it and not expected to do it all season long, can you really meaningfully flip the switch? Because when Hyman was gone, that quality was gone.
So for 2 years, I don't think there's one series of the 8 the Oilers got physically dominated, and they physically dominated Vegas and the Dallas Stars last year. Dominated Dallas physically, dominated them.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's there. These guys choose to not be physical during the regular season to save it for the playoffs. I feel very highly and very strongly about that.
Okay, we'll entertain this for tonight. You guys can shut this down if you want, because this is just, you know, many.
We're not going to yell at you, Zuby. We're not going to yell at you.
Many forms of this question have come across. It's A and B, and you're going to be really mad at B, but A is Guessing is easy. Wants to know, is coaching on the line at all? Is the coach's job in trouble? Neil Garrity, really wanting to piss you guys off, says, Struds, what is your opinion of Tortorella as a coach for the Oilers, for this Oilers team? So you can address that as you wish, Struddy.
I've had a lot of comments, texts at me and DMs about John Tortorella. They need a hard guy, someone to really drive him over the edge and get him done. Think of Daryl Sutter in LA when they won the cup. And I don't know. I think Knobloch, he is, I said it earlier, he's part of the, maybe not problem, but he's got to be part of the solution to figure out this D zone coverage and how they're playing without. It is no doubt also coaching. And I'm not saying it's their system, but he has to figure out how to unlock this. So it's on him. And if they can't figure it out, then maybe someone else will, because it is priority number one. And whether the guys are tired, they're disinterested, I don't want to hear about the system. It is an attitude that you play defending the puck with.
Yeah. And as to the question of, you know, is coaching open for discussion here? I don't think that we're in that vicinity. I mean, Knobloch just signed an extension. The players' individual performances that they fundamentally are responsible for have been such that they don't deserve another coach. Like, there are not enough egregious coaching errors happening that they're making, you know, an otherwise great performance by these players go to waste. Like, this is not a scenario where a new coach is just going to snap his fingers and these guys, you know, suddenly play better. Like, we're not there. If the Oilers legitimately are in jeopardy of making the playoffs, if that becomes the storyline where it's like the numbers are skewing in a way that this team could actually miss the playoffs, all bets are off, because now the owner's involved, right? So all bets are off at that point. They're not there. We're not there. So it's not time to seriously start talking about that. But what I will say, Struds, is that the one area of this team that is so far off that maybe you consider addressing something along those lines, and that's the defensive play. If there is someone out there, what this staff doesn't have is 15-year guys that have been around forever and seen everything and have solutions, you know, and I'm talking about an associate coach or a D coach. And no offense to Mark Stewart, not trying to kick his feet out from underneath him, but relatively inexperienced in the big picture. This is a Stanley Cup caliber contending team with a coaching staff that the overall experience level probably doesn't quite get there. So when something this fundamental is this big an issue, I think probably consideration has to be made there, Struds.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. That's an interesting point. So you're talking about someone with a ton of experience who's currently sitting at home. We saw that with Jacques Martin, who returned to the Ottawa Senators. Now, I recognize that team was on life support at that point, so they needed someone else. But I think give that some thought. That's a really interesting, be a sounding board and challenge some of the decisions that are being made with a strong voice in that room.
We talked about losing Coffey and losing Gulletson. That is a tremendous amount of hockey knowledge and experience taken out of the room. And, you know, Mark Stewart and Paul McFarland, like good, solid, young, up-and-coming guys, respected. Individually, both would be decent hires in different spots. But you go with Chris Knobloch, still relatively new in the life of an NHL head coach. Mark Stewart, relatively inexperienced in the overall life of running a D as a coach. And McFarland, same thing. Where is the grizzled coaching veteran and experience? It's kind of not there. And you can't help but connect those dots a little bit when you see the team scrambling defensively the way they are. I just, you would be silly not to look at that and go, I wonder.
Pete DeBoer still sitting at home. Interesting.
Yeah, I hear that name too. He's focused on the Olympics and then a huge contract for next year somewhere.
Okay, couple more here. Stupid Peter says there has to be a locker room issue. From what I've seen, this doesn't look like a team that wants to go to war for each other. No trade is going to fix the problem here. That's not so stupid, Peter. Don't be so hard on yourself. And let's just dovetail that here with our friend Kayla, who says, just feels to me like McDavid and Draisaitl are hard for their teammates to be around. They're more like parents and not brothers to them based on the way I'm reading the body language anyway. So those are people not in the room, outsiders looking in, but similar comments. So what do you make of? Is there something? I mean, we're just trying to find the root of all of this. Could it be something in the room, Struddy? Show me something in the room. Sorry, go ahead.
When you're winning, everything gets masks. I don't like Schauger. Schauger doesn't like Zuby or whatever. Like it gets masked.
It's an issue.
When you're losing, there's no hiding it. I'm not hiding, or Schauger's not hiding his dislike for me or whatever. So it makes a big difference. So I don't know that there's a problem. I'm not in the room. I have no idea. But it does show itself more it only shows itself when you're losing.
I got news for you, people. Nathan McKinnon is well known for driving his teammates up the wall with his intensity, with his demand, with his absolute relentless need to win. And I think that McDavid and Draisaitl can be like that sometimes. Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on these guys to win. I think at times McDavid wears that pressure. But I also feel like these players would skate through titanium walls for their captain. I really, truly get that sense. And that whatever intensity and moodiness and competitiveness, whatever there is, it's just they all know it's coming from the right place. So I don't think that they're on the wrong side of it leadership-wise. I think body language-wise, some frustration has come through this year. But I still believe that the leadership in this group is strong, and it's certainly not an issue, I would say. Zuby, ready to wrap that up? We're getting to 100 minutes here. We should shut her down. Anything else?
Sure. Do you guys have I'll throw this one out here because Mr. McGarnacle came in with a very interesting non-hockey question. See if you guys can come up with anything off the top of your head. He says, what's your guys' favorite sports conspiracy theory? Mine is Don Cherry's theory that George Foreman was drugged in the final round against Ali. Now, I don't know if there's anything, maybe you guys are aficionados of sports conspiracies. Is there anything that jumps into your head? Do you have anything that you're like a sports conspiracy theory that you think is interesting or want to believe in, Struddy?
Yeah. So the New York Knicks, when they drafted Patrick Ewing, the rumor is that I can't remember if it was a letter or a ball, and someone froze it. Then they threw it in, and then whoever it was, the commissioner reached in, or whoever reached in and grabbed it and knew it was frozen. That would be their pick, because Pat Ewing went to the Knicks, and it was a great pairing for the franchise and Patrick.
I don't have anything super creative. I don't like conspiracy theories. I'm not a tinfoil hat guy. I tend to disregard that stuff pretty quickly. I'll tell you the one that drives me nuts is the idea that Gary Bettman or the NHL is in some way actively involved in trying to prevent Team X from getting to this here or there or whatever. It's just, you hear it nonstop and it's just ridiculous. So that stuff drives me nuts. But anything for you, Zoobs?
Well, I couldn't think of one, but that's a great one, Struddy, because wasn't that actually proven to be a real thing though, because it was drawn by hand. It was like, he's talking about the lottery thing, right? Schauger? Yeah. It was like the lottery balls for the draft lottery, and that they were actually drawn by someone reaching in and taking it out by hand, so that they wanted the Knicks to get Patrick Ewing, so they froze the ball, so the person had to reach in and feel around. I think there's something that's
crazy,
all but been admitted about that, but now I'm going to have to look it up.
That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Maria Gallus Mortgage Broker. Time to wrap the show with our play of the day. We need to welcome in Modern Measure. Holiday shopping doesn't have to be hard. Give the gift of looking sharp with a Modern Measure gift card in Edmonton's Ice District. They're the leaders in made-to-measure style, from tuxedos to custom denim. Buy a gift card now and get a bonus 10% extra. Committed to providing you with a 5-star experience, a personal touch, attention to detail that'll exceed your expectations. Visit modernmeasure.com. That's MDRN measure.com. Struds, I had the opportunity to go in, and the first time I've ever actually been fitted head to toe for a fully custom suit. And it's crazy because the price that you pay there, it's not what you pay for customs when you go other places, like really reasonable prices. But the custom experience, buddy, we got to get you in there. It's really cool. You get to pick everything from the buttons on your coat, if you want a signature button, the thickness of the lapels, how heavy you want, the breast and the shoulders, the structure you want, the fabric you want. Like, it was really cool, man. And I can't wait for my suit to arrive. The first fully custom that I've had done. Really cool, and a great experience with Jared and the crew over at Modern Measure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this bad boy. You're looking sharp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's right there in Ice District, too. So we'll get you down there. We'll get you fitted for you had a good look going tonight. So they'll accentuate your wardrobe for you, Struddy.
I like those. I like those light colors you had, Struddy. You look good.
Yeah, my wife. I'll give my wife credit. It wasn't me. Let's be honest. Okay, the play of the day. I loved the Connor. I just love when I see players score their first goal, but I love the celebration. I don't care if you're losing 10-0. You score your first goal, you celebrate it. You've earned it. You worked your ass off to get there, and he celebrated it properly. So, Connor Clattenburg, holy jeez. First goal of his career, celebrated properly. Good job, Connor.
For sure. Also wanted just a quick shout out. Hockey Fights Cancer is really, it's quite something. And to see the building come together the way they did was pretty amazing. And there's always, some inspiring, some heartbreaking stories that come out on a night like that. Just a really powerful message from Jack Michaels as well. A good friend of ours, who's, Emily is in the middle of it as well. So we send our love to them. And it's well handled and it's important. And I love when the hockey world comes together to show support like that for something that everybody at one time or another has been in some sort of fight with, boys.
Well said, buddy.
Okay, that wraps up the show. Boy, it was a lively one. It was a long one, but I guess tonight was the night to dig in on it. We'll do it again on Thursday night. So we got Struddy's World tomorrow as well, a live stream from 12 to 1 o'clock across all of our channels. And Daryl Dragon making his return tomorrow, I understand, Struds.
Yeah, the Dragon, I talked to him. He said, I'll come on as long as you get my name right. I said, no promises. So he's still
Darren
coming.
Drager makes his return to Struddy's World tomorrow. Thanks for joining, everybody, and thanks to all of our sponsors. And we'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.